Hello and welcome to our newest Patron review. This review is for Willy's Wonderland and this is for the great AJ Lancaster. Now, this is a bit of a different step for this channel. This is an almost unprecedented situation. Now, I usually keep my negative thoughts, opinions, etc. to myself. I tend not to talk about things that I don't enjoy, so the exception to that is, of course, when a patron has asked me to watch a show, a movie, etc., to review it, where I can't say, no, I've agreed to do this. So this one is going to be different. Now, AJ and I usually see very eye to eye on lots of content. He enjoys a lot of the same movies I do. He has shown me through Patreon lots and lots of things that I wouldn't have discovered on my own. I always enjoy the fact that AJ's taste is a bit challenging. It's a little left to center. There's stuff like the Council that I would not have seen without his advice, and I love that movie. I think of that movie all the time. So usually AJ and I are on the same page. So I am very excited to hear, and he is now in the live chat, I see that name, what he got out of this film, because I did not. I will say, if any of the filmmakers somehow stumble across this review, I am always enamored and impressed and in awe of anyone that makes anything. Any kind of art getting finished is a miracle in itself. To wrap a film is something, to finish a script is something, to finish post-production is something. You make a film a dozen times, but those three are giant moments. This movie got done. I tip my hat. That said, I at no point understood the reason behind my experiencing this film. I was waiting for a twist that never happened. I was waiting for something to rationalize the dialogue being what it was. I was waiting for a reason behind Nicolas Cage's choice. I try to stay spoiler free in the opening, and then when I get to my notes I'm going full spoilers. Nicolas Cage makes a very clear choice, or the writers make a very clear choice. It is never really necessary or defined. I don't feel the lore within the film justifies the casting of Nicolas Cage. I don't know why, how you get Nicolas Cage to do something like this. And the whole time I was waiting, the whole runtime, which is only 90 minutes, I'm waiting, and it felt very weird to be waiting and not enthralled for 90 minutes, and then for the credits roll to go, okay, I'm not sure what I missed, and I'm gonna own that maybe it was me, the consumer. Maybe it was me as someone who doesn't typically watch horror films. Maybe it was me who doesn't generally enjoy the grindhouse type flavor of movies. Maybe that's me. I couldn't find the comedy. I couldn't find the horror. I couldn't find the element that drew Nick Cage to this. And I had, as we'll about to go to my notes here in a second, had a ton of theories that would have been at least something. And then when it wasn't anything, and maybe it was something that I just didn't see. Maybe there's something at the end that I missed. Maybe there's a detail that elevates this thing beyond my experience. But I genuinely don't know that I've watched a movie like this and gotten less out of it. Now, I'm also currently on a Nicolas Cage kick. So it was really funny that AJ suggested this one because I recently watched Face Off. I'm watching National Treasure on Saturday for the first time in a decade. So I'm on a Nicolas Cage kick. So maybe that hurt the film because I'm enjoying Nicolas Cage films that I do know I like. I love Face Off, as dumb as it is. I don't actually love National Treasure, and that's why I'm watching it on Saturday, to try to give it another chance. My experience with Willy's Wonderland was confusion, a lack of understanding, feeling like I was missing the joke, feeling like I was just outside of the joke. Like when you walk into a room and a bunch of people are laughing and you're like, hey, what happened? They're like, you wouldn't get it. I didn't get it. I was the guy not getting it. So I'm going to go through my notes. I'm going to tell you guys what I thought of the film, note by note. That ends my spoiler free. We're going to go full spoilers. So if you haven't seen Willy's Wonderland, it is now available on Amazon. I swear I watched it. I watched it on Amazon. And I'm going to go through all my thoughts, and I would love to hear in the comments respectfully. Don't be a dick to me because I didn't enjoy something. I try to enjoy everything. And again, I see merit in all art. What you got out of this film if you liked it more than I did. And I'm very excited to find out what AJ got out of the film because he and I usually see a lot more eye to eye about art. So I'm fascinated what he got out of it that I didn't. So in this film, thank you, Jake Iacovetta, who promises not to be a dick. What up to the Koi Pond? AJ's in the chat. I saw Michael McCarsell in here earlier. A lot of the OGs repping politely. All right, so is this a horror comedy? I do enjoy a good puppet. Okay, so this is going to be one of those Nick Cage films. There's Nicolas Cage films, and there's Nick Cage in italics films. This is a Nick Cage film. Love that Camaro, though. Holy shit, this Camaro was dope. I'm a huge Camaro fan. I'm a big fan of SS's especially, and the newest body type, I think, really embodies the classic 60s musculature of American muscle while also being a lot more economical and better for the planet by getting like 20 miles to the gallon instead of like 10. And it just looks bitchin'. Obviously, you know, 20 still isn't great, but it is a muscle car after all. Big fan of Camaros, especially the body type and everything else they used here. Okay, now we're shifting away from Rob Zombie into Neville Dean Taylor, Crank, and Ghost Rider 2 vibes. I personally enjoy Ghost Rider 2 and Crank. I think Neville Dean Taylor are mad scientists behind the camera. One of my buddies DP'd for them, and some of the stuff they accomplish is absolutely insane. So I was getting excited. I got amped at this point. I'm beginning to doubt her commitment to Sparkle Motion. The great actress that is the mom of in Donnie Darko, not Donnie's mom, but the Sparkle Motion mom is in this joint. Got very excited to see her. All right, so far this reads as one of those so bad it's good type movies, and I tend to have a hard time understanding those. That might be the most telling note of this entire review because that is exactly how it ended. I said, all right, this reads as one of those so bad it's good type movies I tend to have a hard time understanding. I still don't understand. Between the Camaro, the director clearly wanted, and the supporting cast not acting, and Cage so far mute, I grow more and more concerned. So, between the Camaro, it seemed like the Camaro was just there because the director wanted the Camaro, so he wrote in a bitchin' Camaro to give it, like, character, to give Nick Cage some character without actually taking the time to develop a character. You just give a guy a car, pretend that's a character. Or the director literally, or the writer, whoever just wanted the Camaro, so they wrote it into the budget. Also, the supporting cast, man, I had a hard time with the acting there, personally. Anyone that thinks I always say positive shit, welcome to a negative review. I don't like saying negative shit, but I could not grasp why these actors were chosen, why this dialogue was acceptable, why this made it through the first round of script, much less the, like, however many shooting drafts there were. I did not understand, and I grow more and more concerned. And also, Nicolas Cage has not spoken at this point. I have also noted. Does it, like, eat people? What's up with evil Chuck E. Cheese? That's all I know so far. We got evil Chuck E. Cheese. These kids cannot act. Man, I love good unknowns getting their chance, and I'm so happy they got to act with Nick Cage, but these kids cannot act. Good for them for booking a Nick Cage movie, though. Like, I hope it develops into something. I guess at the end of the day, it's 100 moving parts to rationalize Nick Cage versus a demon Chuck E. Cheese. We've given some sense of backstory. It is, at this point, just an excuse to have Nick Cage, who still hasn't spoken, in an evil Chuck E. Cheese. But there's so much convoluted attempts at purpose here. But man, oh man. Man, oh man. Wait, is Cage just nonplussed by an evil ostrich animatronic? There's an evil ostrich animatronic. Nick Cage, to our knowledge at this point in the film, has never heard of this place. He wouldn't know that this was going to happen and is just bored by it. He fights this thing with a look of glazed in his eyes that never lands. It never develops or turns into anything. He just stays bored fighting this animatronic, and I'm like, is he like a demon slayer? And has he come to hunt this? And why? So at this point, why is Nick Cage just bored? Smart on the indie director's part to have him change shirts because it saves continuity issues, and it also gives it a video game level up feel. So I'm trying to find positives here. He changes his shirt after getting it dirty, destroying the evil ostrich, and I think that's smart for continuity, but also because it gives us like a chapter, and it creates this fun pattern that I hope turns into something. It doesn't. What is he going to say in his first and maybe only one-liner? Now we're through a good chunk of the film. Nick Cage still hasn't spoken, so you're waiting for that one juicy one-liner, the one time Nick Cage is going to speak, if at all. He doesn't. Was this all a ploy to get Nick Cage to clean someone's amusement park and call it a movie? Is this part of his taxes community service? He has cleaned so much. This movie is 90 minutes, and at least, and this doesn't sound like a long time, but if you're thinking about 90 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes of this movie is Nicolas Cage cleaning. It's us watching another adult clean. Like, it's weird. I get, like, it's exciting for people that are giant Nick Cage fans to watch him clean. I just watched a man clean for a sixth of a movie. He just cleaned a lot. And I was this community service? Was this trolling? Was this, the script was only 40 pages, they had to stretch it out to get 90 minutes, so it was considered feature? Why? I get a montage could have accomplished this in 4 minutes. There was so much cleaning. I am fascinated by what I'm missing. I literally wrote in all caps, I am fascinated by what I'm missing, question mark. AJ and I are usually on the same page. AJ, what is this movie, is what I wrote down. Gorilla Greetings got a chuckle, and Cage is now fighting a green animatronic ape, and he's now fighting with a plunger. This is my highlight so far. At this point, Nicolas Cage is fighting a giant gorilla animatronic who says, Gorilla Greetings, and it's the first time anything akin to happiness has brought me joy. And now I'm like, okay, maybe we're about to turn. Now we're into the second act. Maybe something's going to happen. AJ in the chat. So his nonplussed kick-ass character who has no voice cleaning up straight up failure, is that in any way a metaphor for his later career too? It could be if they'd given me any details that felt like it was a reference to that. If they tried to make it a metaphor, I'd have been in. If they tried to do something to make it like a tongue-in-cheek awareness, I would have loved that. But also, like, he's had some hits in his later career. Like, there's stuff that people loves in his second half of his career, and I don't feel like silently cleaning something without it being more adaptation level self-aware translates to that. I see what you're saying, and I like that note. Please write something for Nick Cage that has that in it, because I would love that. Okay. Shirt continuity, change, transition, clever. Now we're into that Scott Pilgrim. There's a to him changing the shirt after the fights, which I think is going to translate to something we'll get to my later notes. Oh, that guy was great in Love, Simon. There's an actor that's one of the kids, and he's in Love, Simon, and he was great in that. He is less good here. But he was great in Love, Simon. Again, trying to find positive. This is like an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark starring Nicolas Cage. The show Are You Afraid of the Dark is a childhood classic that I love very much, but I have not revisited out of fear of it not holding up. This felt like I was watching it and all of the not holding up happened, and it starred Nick Cage. It's like attempt at scary, very low budget, but not in the fun, campy way, in the, oh, this is not for me, it's for someone else sort of way, which is where I was at this point in the journey. Does Nicolas Cage work for puppets, but he's also killed them? I don't understand these loyalties or any of his acting decisions. For some reason, he's like fighting the kids off and fighting the demons, but there's no merit in either decision. Like, there's no loyalty, there's no decision making, there's no acting happening. He's just silent and he's not doing anything. He's just being a dick to everybody. And it doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Nicolas Cage has an Oscar. I wrote down at this point. At this point, he's silently getting yelled at by children and not reacting, not acting or reacting, and he's got an Oscar. Why is he here? The info dump isn't even disguised as anything but bad exposition. At one point, there's an info dump about halfway through the movie where the lead girl, just starts giving us exposition, and they don't even try to hide it. They literally just let this girl deliver paragraphs of dialogue that aren't good, and they're written as exposition. Like, at one point, she has little phrases like, why you may ask? Which is like what 8th graders write in their thesis papers to like entice you into the story. It's got exposition that's not even pretending to not be exposition, that goes on for paragraphs and is not good storytelling. And then it's not acted well. No one gave the script a second pass, did they? Oh, is this going to be a Nick Cage is there on purpose thing? Is he there and like he intentionally got his car messed up so he could fight these things? Is that his kid died at this place? Is it that he died at this place and he's trapped in a different body? Is it he's not trapped with them, they're trapped in here with him? I literally wrote in all caps, is it that he's not trapped with them, that they're trapped in here with him? I wrote this about 40 minutes in. They then use that line later in the movie. I used it as a metaphor. They literally just took the line from Watchmen and had it yelled and called it acting. They tried to make it original. I guess you just take the line, like you use it as a concept, sure. Or you have an awareness of stealing the line. You just yell it. It's not good. I don't. She really just said, why, you may ask? Did no one do a second pass in the script? That's not how blood works. At one point, someone gets stabbed through, and before the knife is through, his whole chest is covered in blood, and he's spitting up blood. How did the blood beat the blade? How did editing is important, is all I'm saying. You gotta create the illusion, suspend my disbelief. That's not how blood works. Okay. I don't like disliking things. This hurts my soul. Is Nick Cage an animatronic? That's my newest theory. Maybe Nick Cage is a cursed animatronic demon. Is that why he's not fucking talking or acting or emoting? Is he, in fact, an animatronic? Spoiler alert, he's not. Or maybe he is. We never proved that he's not a fucking animatronic by the end. Maybe that's the twist. He is the animatronic Willy. That would have been something. Also, animatronic Willy is the best 70s porn we never got. He's refueled by soda, and he has to change his shirt in his programming. Maybe that's part of the animatronic thing. Like, he's got to refuel and then change his clothes as part of the process, like a ritual. Now I'm thinking, like, the animatronic needs to... I'm trying. Wait, he literally said he wanted to get her in her birthday suit, and they're fucking fully clothed. Okay. When you make a good, bad movie, you lean into the trash. You lean into the cliche dialogue. I love zingers and one-liners. I love 80s action movies. I love when a horror movie can embrace camp. Cabin in the Woods embraces camp and made a masterpiece out of camp because it's like, it uses lowbrow in a highbrow way. That is an exception to the rule. That is an A+. That is a beautiful magical film. I love when you can do camp, though. They're doing the whole, like, we're slutty teenagers, and they're, like, talking about the birthday room, and of course they cheesily say birthday suit. Then they fuck fully clothed. I don't need to see teenagers naked, implied or not, but don't give me a line of dialogue saying birthday suit, and then show someone fully clothed. Show someone from the shoulders up. Don't exploit, teenagers, but also, like, don't make a line of dialogue and then seconds later undermine it. Just get rid of the line. Just fucking do better. Just do better. Now he's killed more than one without a beer or a shirt change, so that theory doesn't work. At one point he kills 2 in a row, doesn't change his shirt, doesn't change his beer. My whole ritual thing's out. It's gone. And I'm very disappointed. But he's taking out their mechanical souls with focus. Okay, so he's always taking out a part of them with seeming focus. I'm thinking maybe there's, like, where their soul is tied to their spine or their voice box. There's certain parts that he's dissecting and removing. Cage knows too much about animatronic demon soul locations. There's more to this than meets the eye. I'm trying so fucking hard at this point to write a better movie and make this mean something, and I'm failing. I'm thinking, like, maybe he's a reincarnation of a demon hunter, and now modern demons are going through animatronics. I'm thinking maybe he's traveled his entire life ageless by killing demons, so he's been around from before, and now they take this form because it's near children. I'm thinking animatronics can easier, like, pursue children because, like, Chuck E. Cheese-like environments, and Nicolas Cage knows this, and only he knows how to kill them. I'm trying. I'm very much hoping for a twist. Very much hoping for a twist is my next line. Cage's sides of shimmy while playing pinball silently must have been really weird to read. There's 3 different scenes where Nicolas Cage just drinks soda and shimmies while playing pinball. It's never, like, we don't know why. Ever. I'm happy for Nick Cage, I guess is my point. I guess I'm just happy for Nick Cage. She literally just said the line I predicted 30 minutes ago down to the word. They took the Watchmen line verbatim and just said, fuck it, let's say it. Ha 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 ha. All caps. I can't believe they did it. And they did it. That's what I'm goddamn gonna do. There's a nerdy cop character, and they give him a line of dialogue so bad I had to write it down. Instead of, like, no one says, that's what I'm goddamn gonna do. Gonna do, goddammit. Gonna, like, you don't, how do you not know how to phrase a swear? And I get if you're playing with a nerdy character, you put the swear in the wrong place, but they hadn't given us enough time with that character to make him swearing badly funny. Instead, it's just an awkward line of stilted dialogue before a character dies that we've barely gotten to be interested in. No one in this story are we invested in. We care about no one. We literally have no actor on any side that matters. Nicolas Cage is bored, and all the kids are shitty, and then all of the adults are seemingly evil. No one matters, and we just meet a cop, and he's dead already. Money should go to movies with character. Who funded this is my next question. Who funded this? It's almost ceremonial what he's doing. He keeps acting in a very mechanical, intentional way. This can't be his first time doing this. Again, I'm trying to give him backstory here. Is he putting them to rest? Is he giving them closure? Is he letting the demons rest? Because now he's putting them in bags. He's giving them a little closure. It's a dad, one of the children. I'm back to thinking he's one of the kids all grown up that escaped, or he's a dad that wants these things to stop killing. Nope. My favorite thing about this movie is the Camaro commercial it never meant to be. They keep cutting to the Camaro at the end, and I'm like, yeah, this is a great Camaro commercial with a 40-minute movie in the middle of it that makes no sense. Actually, like an hour in the middle of it, that doesn't make any sense. But the book ends with the Camaro. Very well shot. I want a Camaro, even more than I did before. Great Camaro commercial. You can't just like half turn up the audio on our audio and have Nick Cage crank it up 20 times. They're playing Freebird because cliches are the name of the game, and Freebird is apparently in our ears before he even gets to his car, but once he gets to the car, it is now also playing Freebird, so he turns it up loudly, but we only get it goes up like this much, and then he keeps spinning to make it louder. You can't even sync audio. You can't even make it so like we're trying to experience. Just don't have it turn up higher, or do it right. Did he just kidnap that girl? There's a young girl that survives, inexplicably. She's in his car with him. Nick Cage, she gets in the car and they just drive away. I think Nick Cage kidnapped a child at the end of this film. Well, Tinkerbell is obviously in the back seat. Tinkerbell is one of the characters that was a demonic animatronic. And then, no, Tinkerbell is actually behind the back seat. I was very close. They cut to a clear POV shot of the characters, and obviously they're going to get killed because you show the back seat, it's going to be, but then it's right behind the back seat and she's going to blow them up because they set up the gasoline earlier. It's a little less predictable. I give it that. That is something. Nick Cage just kidnapped a child without a word. He's driving into the sunset with a kidnapped child. He's said 0 words and he's been bored the whole time. And my last note is AJ, wait, what? I don't know why that movie exists. I don't know what it served. I don't know how it helped society. And I know everything doesn't have to. But art should make you feel something. The point of art is to make you feel something. I don't consider boredom a feeling. It's like a lack of feeling. Now, you can argue that all the colors equal white or all the colors equal black, and therefore that's the same as boredom, but I don't think they intended me to feel bored. Willy's Wonderland is an 88-minute, 488-minute experience where Nick Cage is really working off that Tyrannosaurus Rex skull habit where he just bids on T-Rex skulls and has multiple castles. And this is what happens. And they roped in a decent DP, a script that was only written half of once, and there's a great Camaro commercial on each side of it. That is my experience with Willy's Wonderland. It's available now for $20 on Amazon. I Wouldn't personally recommend it, but I would love to hear what AJ got out of it. And I hope that if anyone stumbles across this review, they understand it comes from a place of deep reverence for filmmaking and deep appreciation for the art of cinema, and that I have no ill tidings towards the director, the writer, anyone who work could be different in other platforms. And I'm sure people love this. I'm sure you've made a movie for a very specific audience, and I'm very happy for those people that got this experience. And I'm so happy you completed a film, and I'm so proud of anyone that completes a film. So to the director, to the writer, to the kid actors, to Nick Cage, you made a movie. Oh boy, was it not for me? And that's okay, because not everything is. I don't like eggs. It's the most common food in the world. It's the best thing for bodybuilding. It is so healthy and so foundational, and I don't like them. So maybe this is just eggs. Some things just aren't for everybody. Eggs aren't for me. Willy's Wonderland wasn't for me. This one wasn't for me. This was the longest notes I've took because I kept trying to like it. We've gone almost half an hour. I'm going to wrap this up, but I did, thank you, Michael McCarcel. I gave it an honest try. I'm going to check in the chat real quick before we close this out. I'm a day later. I watched it yesterday, still flabbergasted. AJ, I feel like Coy and I would have the exact same words telling someone about this movie, but with entirely different inflection. This movie is for people who go to Casa Bonita unironically, which is for me. Okay, so I'm so happy this was the same experience. You just liked that experience. Fuck yeah. Okay, that helps. I don't think I'll enjoy the movie, but this review is gold. I'm glad I could give you the entertainment that I did not receive. Mango Sensei, you sold it for me. I'm gonna have to watch it. Hey, if the filmmakers ever stumble across this review, know that I sold one ticket for you. I did my best to try, and we got at least one more ticket sold. Yes. Okay, it is a CC minus for AJ, but he had a great time watching it. We talked about before I started watching it, he gave it a CC minus, but he experienced like an A or B film. Is this Nick Cage in Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Yeah, so that was the thing that once I Googled it after the fact, a lot of people were talking about it, is apparently like a thing, like Five Nights at Freddy's, which I also know nothing about. So maybe I'm just missing an entire cornerstone of pop culture that didn't translate for me, because it's apparently a big thing. So AJ says it's like a murdery version of the teacup ride. It's not for everyone. Exactly. Okay, so if you came across this review, you lovely folks, this movie might be for you. Do give it a try. If you're like AJ, you will say the same words I said, but with a different inflection, and perhaps enjoy the hell out of it. But some people get done and get back in line and do it again. That is a metaphor for life if there ever was one. Some people get off a roller coaster, throw up, and never come back to the park. Some people get off the teacup ride and wait in line and go again. This personally for me, Willy's Wonderland will not be a theme park I revisit, but AJ loved the hell out of it. And the only way to find out if you're an AJ or a Coy in this situation is to check out Willy's Wonderland on Amazon. AJ, man, I love your patron picks. I'm always fascinated by what's going to happen, so I appreciate this journey that I never would have seen this movie short of it. So this was a fun journey, if only for me being like this for 90 minutes, because I just didn't understand. So I appreciate you giving me those feels. And I'm excited for what we pick next. And the next thing I'll be doing is playing more Last of Us for the great John Getz. I'm going to be doing 2 to 3 hours of The Last of Us gameplay to get more into the story, to review that. So the next review we're going to be doing is a video game review. And then near the end of the month will be a watch-along for the great Michael McCarcel, who is also in the chat right now. So I'll probably be sending Michael a message in the next week or so to figure out what the end of the month movie is going to be. It is March. Probably something Irish. There's not a lot of Irish movies that Americans know, but it'd be fun to do something like that. But yeah, so watch along later in the month, video game review coming, and of course, more Coy Cubed dropping on Tuesdays, more Coy Cast dropping on Wednesdays. There's a brand new Schmodown coming at you today between John Humphrey and Saul, as well as more stuff very, very soon from the Schmodown. So I'm all over the internets. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and you can become a patron and recommend all sorts of stuff for me as well, if you'd like me to review anything for you. Michael's saying, I do respect your broad appreciation of films, AJ. And I agree with that, man. I always enjoy the array that we land on. So this was definitely in that arena. AJ, thank you very much for being a patron. Thank you very much for this suggestion. And to everyone watching this, watch some movies, make some art, do cool shit, stay sane in all this chaos. I will see the Koi Pond soon. Much appreciated, guys. Go make something cool.